successful yet keep your family. Now, this used to be titled Become a Millionaire and Keep Your Family, but I was told by compliance a couple of years ago that could not use those terms anymore because there's income claims and all that. So I changed it to Successful Yet Keep Your Family, and I made some additions in revisions to this particular training, and so I'm really really excited. So if you guys are excited, go inside of the chat box right now and put excited, because I'm going to give you guys value today. So because I'm married, 6 kids, and I've done this now for a long time, I do feel I have at least some words of wisdom as well as experience that I could give to you guys today. Everything I share with you is stuff that I've either done or I do right now. How to be successful and keep your family. Number one is I put God first place in my life. He is the CEO of my life. He is my upline. He is the Lord, my provider. Jehovah Jireh, as some people would say. Number two is family. Number three is business. Now, I've heard people want to reorder these. Yeah, but you got to put the business up there because you can't take care of your family and these other things and have time for church and God and all this stuff if you don't have money. I totally agree. I don't care so much about the order as much as it is the priority and the focus. Is that God is the most important thing, because everything that I do on a daily basis, it's all a means to an end, unless I believe that there is a purpose to this life and that there's an afterlife. Number two is family, because my family really is the driver as to why I do what I do. Of course I want to be successful. Of course I want to do great things and make contribution impact. But at the end of the day, the people that I'm going to live the longest with is my family. Okay? Especially my wife. Number three, business. Business is extremely important to be successful. Why? Because when we are successful, and we have it in this order, we're successful in business. That means we can glorify God better. It's frankly easier. Look at what God has done for us. Look at how far He has brought us in this business. And when you look at this image here, this is why I say, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Now, that's not my quote. That comes from the book of Proverbs. Okay? Whatever you treasure the most is a lot of times where you spend the most time. Now, I've had one person in the past said, well, then that would mean that your work is what you treasure most. The work is the way that we provide for the family. So, of course, hours need to be put in. But the things and person that you care most about, whatever it is, that is your treasure. One of the ways I've told people to know what they care most about is in their spare time, what do they do? Now, I could do an entire training with you guys on what I do in my spare time, but I'll keep that for another day. A lot of times it is an indicator of what it is that we care most about in our lives, okay? Now, I heard this quote years ago, you can't do a good job if your job is all you do. I think some people, they just work too much. Now, some people are forced, they have to, single mom, single dad, or whatever. But for most people, they simply work too much. And they say, well, I'm taking care of my family. But they're totally out of balance. They're not taking care of their family. They're not taking care of their health, their fitness, and all that stuff. If you're just working because you want to be successful and you want to hit ranks and you want to be successful with trading or whatever it is that you do for your life, your job, entrepreneurship, etc., you will be unsuccessful in the end. You know why? Because you will be unfulfilled. You'll lack purpose. I'll talk about that at the end here. Never get so busy making a living that you forget to make a life. Some people are so busy working for the utility company, meaning they're paying their bills, the utility company. They're paying off Aunt Visa with Uncle MasterCard. They're playing all these games back and forth. They worship the altar of their mortgage company. They're afraid of their car loans, their cars themselves being taken. So they're so busy trying to make a living and pay their bills that they're not really living. I remember Les Brown said, he said, are you really living? Are you actually alive? Or you just do what you do every day simply because you got bills to pay? So just be thinking about that one, okay? Now, my first mentor was Zig Ziglar. And one of his famous quotes, and I've quoted this, on webinars a lot as well as on stage, is lack of direction, not lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. Now, when I first heard him from stage say it, he actually kind of said it a little bit of a different way, in that it's not lack of direction that is the problem. It is not lack of time. Or he said that the direction was the problem, that not the lack of time. But the way that he said it, that I think is important for you to understand right here, because he really kind of went on this particular subject here. The direction is more important than the speed. The speed is not the all-important thing, as much it is the direction that you're going in those 24-hour days, okay? All right, so if you want to be successful in your life and as a family and stuff like that, how can it actually be done? So rather than just hyping you up and getting you excited and just talking about this, I want to give you guys the specifics of how it can actually be done. Well, first, you have to have a season of your life, such as 90-day sprints with a business or work, and be dedicated to launching. So this means that maybe for a time, you're going to miss a few things. All right. Sometimes you almost have to be a little bit out of balance in order to get balance. I have friends right now that used to be out of shape physically, that today they're in shape. Why? Because now they have the time to do it. When they were launching and they were in those sprints, some of those things may have been set aside just a little bit. So it's for the time. Now, you may miss a birthday. You may miss some important dates, right? But you are going to make up for those things with the launch and the results. So sometimes for that period of your life, I call it a season of your life, that phase, it's going to take a lot of effort. And guess what? That's okay. Now, when do I pick the season? Now, right now. Not later, not next month, not 6 months down the road, because there is always going to be things going on. So you start right now, today. Do not procrastinate any longer. Get started today. Now, once your launch, now when I say launch, I'm talking about any kind of launch. I don't care if it's a physical health, a business, or whatever. When that launch is complete, structure your personal life, family, and business into time increments. This is where I get into the daily success routine. And I talk about this success routine all the time. But this is where you're able to start structuring things better than maybe you were before, because you got things going. The rocket has launched. This is important, that all of a sudden, okay, my physical health, my spiritual life, my marriage, my kids, right? Those things are all important. The launch is complete. You're past the sprint. You can't sprint your whole life, by the way. I'm at a point right now where I'm not in a sprint. I'm in I would say a fast jog. And that is maintaining, sustaining, and growing. Okay? Now, I learned from Brian Tracy. He said, work all the time that you work. Now, notice he didn't say work all the time. He said work all the time that you work. That means be effective and efficient with the time that you're putting in. Stop wasting time. Stop scanning social media all the time and wasting your day and watching one reel after another. I do realize you should have fun. You should laugh. You should watch stuff that makes you laugh, okay? But for some of you watching this right now, you do it too much. You are busy, but you are not productive. You're watching too many reels, too many videos, wasting time, okay? Now, you put the phone down during family time and personal time. This is something that I feel like I'm actually pretty dang good at. I do have my phone with me. But when I'm with my family and I'm going on the dates and different stuff like that, I try very hard to not look at the phone much, all right? When I'm with my wife, I try and set that time aside to be with her, to be present, to not continually be looking at my phone. And one of the things that helps me is I actually set it aside and I turn it over. This is very helpful. It creates forced discipline, because guess what? Those messages, you'll be able to get back to them. Don't worry about it. Those people are not going to be stressing out. It's going to be okay. You'll be able to get back to it, okay? Now, how do I structure it? Now, if you guys were to see my calendar, this is just an example of my calendar, just some screenshots from before. And basically what this does is it indicates on a daily basis, okay, what are some things that I do throughout the day? And what you'll see is I don't waste a lot of time. I just don't. I don't waste a lot of time. I make sure that I'm putting in the time and being efficient with my time. I'm being productive. I'm not busy. Almost every hour of the day, I've got something going on. Now, I have had a person tell me, but Brandon, doesn't that kind of wear you out? Don't you ever get tired? Of course I get tired. But you know what? I'd rather be tired rich than tired broke. Because, and I can say that because I've been on both sides. I know what it's like to not have money, and I know what it's like to have a lot. And I'll take being rich and wealthy any day over being broke. I learned a lot of good lessons being broke, but trust me, I don't want to go back there. And so I would rather be tired where I'm at now than tired not achieving. You see what I'm saying? So it's vitally important for you to have structure in your life. Now, you don't have to have something for every hour of the day, but you need to have stuff on the calendar. What is it that you're doing? I remember hearing from Mike Murdoch. He said, when you don't have a schedule, you are scheduling seasons of nothing in your future. I was like, wow, I'd never heard of that. An empty calendar means pretty much an empty future, empty bank account, empty relationships, frankly, an empty life. Okay? So now for people that say that they're just too busy to do the business, too busy to trade, single mom, got lots of kids. Look, I know. I've been there. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to raise a family and be busy. But we know excuses sound best to those who make them. Let me break this down. You work 8 hours a day. That leaves 16 hours left. Let's give you 8 hours of sleep. That leaves 8 hours left. Let's give you 4 hours of time getting ready, driving, family time, personal time, TV time, gym time. When I say TV time, I also mean social media, reels, and all that. That leaves 4 hours left. Guys, what you do with those 4 hours will determine the quality of your life, how much money you make, the impact you make, the lives you change. So I don't want to hear any more excuses for lack of time being the reason that you cannot build a business. It is not lack of time, it's lack of direction. It is lack of desire. Look, if you have a second job, just sleep a little less hours. It's not like you're going to have to do that your whole life. You don't have an option but to succeed. All right? So if you got multiple jobs, you don't have an option but to succeed. I really got to make it happen. I got to take massive action. You know what Tony Robbins said? He said, I've seen business moguls achieve their ultimate goals, but still live in frustration, worry, and fear. What's preventing these successful people from being happy? The answer is they have only focused on achievement and not fulfillment. Extraordinary accomplishment does not guarantee extraordinary joy, happiness, love, and a sense of meaning. These two skill sets feed off each other and makes me believe that success without fulfillment is failure. Do you know how many people watching this right now? Because I'm all over social media when I do these calls. How many people are addicted to achievements, targets, goals, which by the way, I'm all for that stuff. I think achievements, goals, targets, I think they're great. They've helped get me where I'm at. But what he says here, believe that success without fulfillment is failure. There's a lot of people who are so focused on the goals, they're so focused on the targets, the ranks, and all that stuff, that they are losing their lives. They are losing their health. They're losing their relationships. They're going to get divorced. It will be at too high of a cost. This is why Brian Tracy said, be wary of the high price of putting too much focus on any single aspect of your life to the exclusion of everything else. Go for whole life success. Balance in all the aspects of life that are important to you: business, finances, health, and well-being spiritually, family, and relationships, and lifestyle. I've quoted for years, whole life success. I want to be whole life successful. I don't want to just be successful in business or as a trader or in health, my fitness, my spirituality. I want to be the uncommon father, the uncommon business person, the uncommon spiritual leader. I want to be different. I'm not going to put any rank or any success in my trading account above my family. It is the most important thing. My relationship with God is the most important thing in my life, coupled with my family. Business is a means to an end. It will come and it will go, but relationships are what are most important. And those are the ones that should be long lasting. Finally, guys, Mark 8:36, one of my favorite scriptures. For what profits a man to gain the whole world, which means the praise and the accolades of the world, and lose his own soul? which to me is you lose your family, you lose salvation, and in the end, you lose your life. No amount of success can compensate for failure in the home. I don't care what rank, how much money you have in the account. I know too many people who are rich and wealthy and they are empty. They don't have relationships. They don't even need people anymore because they have money. And they are unhappy, unfulfilled, and they don't have purpose. My friends, I believe that you can be successful, that you can keep your family, and if you don't have a family, that you can work towards one, and that you can still have a good personal life, that you can smash ranks, that you guys can be successful in life as entrepreneurs, and yet you can still keep things that are most important at the top of your list and the top of your life, which is God, family, and business. That is the order that I have it. That's what's worked best for me. God is the CEO of my life. He is the most important person. He is my upline. He's my Lord and provider. And I hope that you guys got some value out of this. If you did, I want you to go to my Instagram, Brandon Boyd Official. I'm going to give you guys the PowerPoint, and I'm also going to give you the video of this as well. You're going to get both. All right. I love each and every one of you. I care for you. I want you to win, but most of all, I want you to live with purpose and fulfillment. That is where you'll have peace. And I believe that you can eventually have the peace that passes all understanding as well with that relationship. So guys, have a fantastic day. This is my training for you today, and I hope